What's happening? It's like, in the new year, man, we're going to start off doing things a new way, and we're just going to cut straight to the freaking chase, all right? All right, since my experience in narc abuse, and here's the real issue now. All right, all of a sudden, all these, like, the close-up narcissists, by me figuring them out, and they're literally they're everywhere, and then at the same time everyone under certain conditions and triggerings can be all of a sudden convert into a narcissist. Like, it basically, you revert back to a younger self in a way. That part of you freaking kind of like starts to hijack the controls, and they just get squirrely and narky, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're a freaking malignant narcissist, covert narcissist. It's just, in a way, life is just grinding a person down. Because I know, dude, life's grinded me so fucking hard, and then on top of the narcs. But that's the big picture here, is like, look, don't give me a false hope that narc abuse, like, look, even if, I got the narcs out of my life, I still have to go to the fucking, to the Secretary of State. I still got to deal with these freaking revenue generators that are just stalking the freaking streets. I got to deal with this legislation being passed behind my back and under our nose. Freaking that's pimping us out. And or what am I supposed to do? Just batten down the hatches, become a loner, get rich, go buy my own narcissistic safe haven, and just like bang hookers. You know what I'm saying? Look, it seems the problem isn't just the narcs and the people that are narcs. There's a program, in a bigger program, a greater program, and a lot of people just look. They're just not willing, man. It's a couple people kind of get it. But there's a lot of people, man, that you're too compartmentalized, man. You're too used to being a therapist, working with one-on-one person, keeping it all private. You know what I'm saying? You're not used to actually, like, look, it's when you take your telescope and you flip that fricker around and you look at the stuff that's going on right around you. Not the stuff that's way across the freaking ocean that ain't even really affecting you. It might down the line, but it's really not as important as the narcs that are right around you, like maneuvering all around you, like right under your nose. And trying to pretend to be philanthropists, Nobel Peace Prize types, well-to-do types, out for the greater good of humanity types. They speak noble look, that's the same thing. Noble idealism, okay? The first phase of narc abuse, or being incepted into a cult, is idealization, aka the love bomb. It means where they're trying to make you feel as if they put you on some kind of freaking pedestal, because it's a trick. Because now they're going to control you by slowly chipping away at the pedestal that they falsely created to put you on, so they could knock you off of it. And then you will, in order to appease them to get put back on the pedestal, you'll start jumping through their hoops. And therefore, the narc supply is already being extracted and milked out of people. Because that person that manipulates the situation to get such an action is getting narc supply off your compliance and off your when they say jump, before you jump, you ask how high. Like, look, they like you to be, like, look, groomed well. Like, look, that lets them know that it's working. So it's like there's really the narc thing. This is also what got us in this position at the same time, because they've tricked us to thinking that we can all run off and lock each individually. Look, work all day 24 freaking 7 to be alone, to lock your freaking picket fence. So at least inside this picket fence, at least in here, I don't have to deal with no narcs, But look, you're jumping through hoops all day, 24 freaking 7, to have your little small sanctuary that you're only at like freaking, you don't even get to be there. And you're just jumping through all these freaking hoops. You're just worn out, and it's just a rat wheel. And it's just, there's just, they force you into a kind of, look, you don't get to that sanctuary unless you join them in some way, or you're working for them. Like, look, you're blackmailed, or you're no threat to their overall agenda, or you don't get like the reward. You don't get to just, from my perceptions here, man, it's like, look, there's a greater freaking problem going on here. And it's not just, yes, these people, look, they used to be the public enemy number one was just my relationship narc, my family narc, my social narc, someone that I know freaking that's close but not super close, but they're narking on me or narking around me, narking the people around me, making my life more difficult than it has to be, people narking me at work. But realizing that, like, look, man, the whole system's it's narky. And no wonder, I mean, that's the thing, you know, I mean, you send the message that the narcs are rewarded, they get away with murder, but let us frickin' even think about trying anything like that, and we're frickin' really made an example out of. And it just makes it really difficult, because it's hard to, I mean, the narcs are in everything. And then the systems are set up that if you take your narc to court or something, the court joins up with your narc and then just starts to gaslight you and then gang abuse you and freaking bully you and just make your life freaking HE double hockey sticks. And it's not freaking pleasant. And I mean, it's just like, is this a nightmare? Am I fucking in a bad freaking dream? Why does everything have to seem to go this way? I mean, yeah, I survive and all that, but look, I jumped through a lot of freaking hoops, and just for nothing, it would seem, or just to be like stretched all the way out and feeling kind of like I got pimped again. Like, just to take look, these narcs already screwed me over. Then I go to court, and then they screw me one more time, and it like open the wound like way wide open again, like worse. It's interesting how this thing is working out here. Like, and it's like, look, there's the little narc picture, but look, there is an all-pervasive and grander narc picture that not a lot of people get. A couple dudes on here might get it, and it would seem almost more likely at the moment, it's the dudes seem to be recognizing it the most. Not to say that the women aren't kind of aware. Maybe they just ain't choosing to speak on it. But it's all right. Look, you don't believe me now? Believe me later, all right? It's kind of like when Tommy Chong freaking went to prison. He was like, don't worry, you'll find out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, because that's the thing. When society as a whole looks the other way, we are allowing the bullies and the narcs to use and abuse and exploit everything just because it ain't you. Look, imagine if it was you, and the only thing that could help you out was other people to say, hey, wait a second, I see what's going on here. This ain't right. Look, you know what I'm saying? It's just you versus the system. And imagine if your narcissist was let's just say this, you were in a relationship, you're a woman, and your frickin' man was a frickin' detective police officer, and he was abusive. And if you tried to leave, he could sick all his goons on you and make your life hell. And to say, look, you can take that and really, for instance, okay, or let's flip it on the other side. You were married to Tony fucking Soprano, and you want to cheat on the guy. Well, you might get you and your lover whacked. You know what I'm saying? Freaking like, but then again, still ain't even supposed to be cheating on Tony Soprano, lady. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing with him? Anyway, that's hypothetical speaking here. But this whole thing, no, man, it's like, look, by keeping it so, like, listen, the thing that defines a narcissist too is they believe they're the center of the universe. If your narcissism, or not your own narcissism, but your narc abuse, your narc freaking traumatizations, if it is keeping you so that you're only seeing your own pain and your own situation and you can't kind of snap out of it. Because listen, until I seen the big picture, all my little pictures around me didn't really make total sense yet. Like I was starting to get a gist of it, but once I seen that, it's like, wait a second, this is everywhere. This is all over the freaking place. This is freaking like, wait, we've been freaking desensitized to it. And we've been groomed, and the whole idea of becoming a narc has been idealized. I mean, look, the whole American dream is based on a narcissistic safe haven. You know what I'm saying? Where you get to do as thou wilt, basically. But you have this system set up to give you the illusion of normalcy. But really, it's just this illusion of normalcy is there for the public. But behind the scenes, everything's all freaking dysfunctional. Because listen, narcissism is dysfunctional. I mean, look, there's a time in life and death situations where sometimes you might have to think for the well-being of yourself a little bit, and if you're dependent on others, man, you gotta think for the benefit of the group that you're with. You know what I'm saying? If that's your situation, dependent. If you're in a frickin', you know, if you're in a freaking solitary confinement in a prison, well, it's just all you got is you. So look, but even in there, you probably got to get into gangs to just for survival's sake. There's no. You got to have some kind of social network group, or look, to leave somebody in a solitary forever, they'd probably, unless they were really freaking insane or hard as freaking nails, they'd probably freaking just die after so long, or do something harmful to themselves, because freaking isolation isn't freaking natural. But that's the thing. See, they've tricked us into this false security, and we've all isolated ourselves. We have all segregated ourselves, and now individually, when no one's looking around the corner, a lot of us are getting freaking literally like freaking bullied constantly, and just freaking like used and abused and treated like shizzle. And there's just like, look, everyone's conditioned not to notice. As long as like, look, because look, in order for you to maintain, it's like, look, if you say something, you might end up being that person at the end of the ridicule and the scrutiny, and then the abuse yourself. And that's the motive for a lot of people. Why, when you see narc abuse or injustice or racism stuff, these type of things, look, they don't say anything. Or you might even have, like, let's say, you know, melanated people sticking up, or like, listen, sticking up for the bias against their own people. Like, look, because they know if we just act like this, then they know that there's a lot of like angst and weirdness and like really like control freakish stuff going on. And out of fear, because if you pass on that kind of stand up for yourself, stand up for what you believe in, that in a way, as a self-defense mechanism, they have discouraged it in their people and actually taught them to kind of kiss brown nose so that they can survive, because they know look, you'll either end up in the joint or the police will lynch you, and you could be killed. And look, so it's like, that makes a lot of sense. The Native Americans did a lot of stuff like this, where they beat the kids to act really freaking white, or look, society, whatever you want to call it, so that they didn't get targeted and killed. Like, look, I'm telling you, this is legit. And it's going on now. It's just like, look, I've been so distracted and caught up in this and that and other issues that I didn't see it all right away. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't connect. There's just too many dots because it's like, it's really widespread. And you got to look up this terminology called Willie Lynch, because Willie Lynch, I'm not talking about it because because of the race issue, because even though it was a race issue, but I'm just showing you there was a system set up to divide people and turn a part of the group into the golden boy and then the scapegoat child. It's the same dynamic that a narcissistic parent does with two children. They did the same thing to a whole society to keep them fighting each other and controllable. And this is why narc abuse is so prevalent. And it's grander, it's greater, it's going on a greater scale than, see, the reason why the big narcs are getting to just do whatever they want is because the little narcs were so busy bickering over nothing that it's causing, that becomes the all pervasive conflict in your life. Is just in your own household, is just walking on the eggshells on not avoiding a disaster, and look, going way at tiptoeing around, putting in all this work of to have to, I can't say what I need to say because you can't take it. Look, you're there. That keeps you trapped from really looking outside of it and being like, wait a second. Hey, lady at the Secretary of State, how come when you just talked to me, you just sounded like the way my ex used to talk to me? Or like my mom or somebody that was being mean to me when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? Because yes, parents can be mean sometimes, but look, that's life. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like, that's what makes you scratch your head for a second when you recognize that this is like a program. It's almost like a spirit, like on the Matrix, like Mr. Smith, Agent Smith, and this fricker's like jumping in and out of people, it would seem like sometimes, but it would seem like that, but it's really not. It's just that the whole societal program is so pervasive, it was so effective that literally, that in a way captivated, okay? When someone says something to you and it convinces you that it's correct and you actually start to emulate it yourself without thinking it was your own idea, but it really wasn't. It was a suggestion. This is what's going on here, man, a lot of times. Everyone's just kind of being freaking coerced, man, through peer pressure, dude, and groupthink and crowd psychology, man. I mean, it's really crazy, man. This is a deep subject, and I mean, it's good that it's coming out, but it's bigger than what most of us are really even can really like get out of it, man. Like it's like way bigger than just our petty freaking affairs.